Hi, today I want to talk about differences between different kinds of approach that you can meet at the university. Back in the day, in Middle Ages through Renaissance up until 20th century, universities were places for students to go and have space, have the best teachers they could get, the best equipment they could get, the best knowledge they could get. Keep in mind that education was extremely pricey, expensive back in the day. Only rich families could send their sons and daughters to universities. People who went to universities back in the day, they had space where they could challenge the status quo, where they could find ways to improve society in some ways. They had space for experimentation. They had space for exploration. They could learn by themselves, guided by the best teachers. So what has changed in 20th century? So what happened was the rise of factories, rise of businesses which needed specialized, narrowly specialized workers. Popularization of universities also added to that. There was no longer space for everyone to practice, space for everyone to get attention from teachers. Universities became much more focused on a very particular small piece of knowledge and preparation, basically preparing the students to enter the workplace, very specific workplace. Of course, it did work for some time, but now it doesn't anymore. So what I want to talk about today is the approach towards education that you can meet in United Kingdom, UK, and what is different between that education system and other education systems. The Polish one, Chinese one, these are the ones that I experienced, that I know. So in UK, contrary to other countries, the focus of university course is towards self-study. The most important part is the self-study. And the second one is on practice. The focus on, and the second aspect is the focus on practice and being battle tested, learning through doing. Learning through doing. Not learning through reading and copying. When you just read and copy and paste, you become a copier. You just repeat. It doesn't come from your own experience, your own knowledge, your own understanding. You just pass on what you read and hear. So in UK, the focus is much more on the self-study. So what I've been through at university in UK can be summed up in 2 points. Number 1, self-learning, self-practice, self-exploration, doing things by myself, being guided a little bit by teachers, but all they did was show me something that I needed to do, explain how to do it, what I need to do, what's the grading look like, what do I need to do to pass or get a high grade, and then support me on my way. So Monday to Friday I had in total about 11 hours or 12 hours of classes per week. And out of those 12 hours, only about 3 hours were spent in the actual classroom. Because most of my activities were not in the class, but outside doing something. Recording sounds, recording musicians, going out and reinforcing sound, starting a group project, a charity group project, making music, sound design, learning software in the studio, music studio, synthesizing sounds, making sounds from scratch, which is sound design, recording sound outdoors, indoors, making videos, making sound for videos, sound design for video, for movies, soldering, so being a handyman and soldering. And the second aspect was to gather everything that I've learned through doing tasks in one assignment. So I had about 6 or 7 modules per year. For each of those modules, there was an assignment roughly every month. So what I needed to do was to manage my time by myself to complete all of those tasks that I was assigned with. I needed to gather all the pictures, all the videos, all the texts, all the notes, all the ideas, all the evidence that I've collected throughout preparing for that assignment. And as a proof of my work, I needed to write an essay, at least 1,000 words, up to 2,500 words, summing up all my experiences, all my efforts into one piece. So thanks to that, I've learned how to learn things by myself. And that has been extremely helpful after I've graduated. Because after I've graduated, I've learned so much more. Because I knew how to explore. I knew how to learn. I knew how to approach learning by myself. I didn't rely on teachers to tell me, you need to do this, you need to do that. The experiences I've gathered gave me a way to learn by myself, unguided, without needing a guide. And I think this is what universities should do. The universities should prepare students for real life experience, and this is real life experience. Going out and doing things. People no longer spend the whole life, as it was in 20th century, in one workplace. People change their life, people relocate, people change environments, people decide to do something new. And if university doesn't provide them with that skill of how to learn by themselves, they will be lost. And they will go to school again, they will pay a lot of money for that school, counting on that school to prepare them for the workplace. And if they want to change the workplace, they will feel lost again. Actually, after I have graduated, I was looking for a job making video games, making sound for video games. And what struck me back then was that none of those companies, big companies like DICE, Activision, Rockstar, none of those companies actually cared about the university degree for the position I was applying. I wanted to make sound for video games, implement the sound, be a part of the sound team. And those job offers stated that it is not mandatory to have a university degree to get a job for that position. If you have one, fine, it's good. If you don't, no problem. It doesn't matter. What matters is your actual skills. So at university, I had to become battle tested. So what I got through was all sorts of experiences.